Okay, so today we're going to step onto, well, an ancient battlefield, right into a moment that really profoundly changed how one warrior saw conflict itself. We're diving deep into Arjuna's vision of kinsmen on the battlefield, and we're going to focus specifically on verses 6 and 27. Our mission really is to unpack this incredible moment of realization. How does seeing something seemingly impossible redefine how we think about conflict, maybe even how we think about ourselves?
Exactly. And it's so much more than just, a story about a battle from long ago. What Arjuna understands in that moment, it really resonates across time. It touches on these universal truths about how we're all connected, who we think we are, and the sort of surprising emotions that come up when we face these huge personal choices.
Right. So let's get into verse 26. Picture the scene. Arjuna, he's right there at the front, ready to fight, looking at the army lined up against him. But what does the text say he actually sees? And why is that so striking for a warrior in that moment?
Well, it's pretty astonishing when you read it. He sees fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, and friends. And look, this isn't just some random list of relatives, is it? It's like seeing the entire structure of his society right there. You've got the wisdom of the elders, the bonds with his peers, his duty to the next generation, even his mentors, his teachers. Seeing all those fundamental relationships on the other side, I mean, it just shatters that idea of a faithless enemy, doesn't it? It makes it incredibly personal instantly.
That is powerful. Yeah, you'd expect to see soldiers, maybe rivals, but
Yeah.
not your uncles and teachers. But then as we move to verse 27, it deepens even more. The list grows, right? It adds fathers-in-law and well-wishers.
Mhm.
What's the significance there? Seeing those kinds of connections, maybe beyond just direct blood ties standing on both sides.
Ah, yes. And the text makes it explicit. He sees these kinsmen among both armies, that specific detail. Well, that's the absolute pivot point here. It just flips the whole script.
Yeah.
Suddenly the fight isn't between us and them in some abstract way. No, it's between people who are deeply, deeply interconnected. It really throws a harsh light on the tragic cost, doesn't it? When the lines get blurred, not by ideas, but by shared life, shared history, people you respect, people who, genuinely wish you well. It underlines that this isn't just about family in the narrow sense. It's about that whole web of relationships, support, influence, everything that makes up a life.
Hmm. And seeing all this network of relationships, it triggers a really immediate and profound emotional reaction in Arjuna. The text is very clear. He was overwhelmed with deep compassion. Now, that's definitely not what you'd expect from a warrior about to charge into battle.
Not at all. And the depth of that compassion well, it's immense because it cuts right to the heart of the justification for war itself. It shows us that even when you're facing, what seems like an existential threat, recognizing that shared humanity, those deep bonds, it can stir up an empathy so strong, it just overrides that instinct to fight. It makes you ask, what does winning even mean? What does losing mean when the person you're supposed to defeat is actually part of your own world, your own community, your own family?
Yeah, it muddies the waters completely. So let's try and bring this out of the ancient past and into our lives today. Okay, we're probably not lining up for battle on chariots, but we all face conflicts, right? Big disagreements, really tough choices, maybe at work, in our neighborhood, sometimes even within our own families. This whole scene with Arjuna, it kind of asks us to pause, doesn't it? What if you looked across that meeting table or across whatever divide you're facing? What if you saw not just an opponent, but someone who maybe years ago mentored you? Or just someone who deep down is a well-wisher, someone who actually cares. How does that change things? Arjuna's vision, it's not just showing compassion, it sort of forces you to see how fragile that whole us versus them thinking really is. It reveals that even when things get really tough, maybe our deepest human instinct is actually connection, not division.
That's a powerful way to put it. And think about this. If right there, on the brink of this massive war, just recognizing shared humanity, seeing kinsmen in both armies, if that can bring forth such overwhelming compassion, what does that suggest about the potential for empathy in our own, maybe smaller scale daily conflicts? What could you learn? Or barriers could you maybe start to break down if you actively try to look for that shared connection, that kinsman on the other side of whatever disagreements or oppositions you face day to day? Something to think about, isn't it?